Hello, welcome to Only Stupid Answers. As always, my name is Sam Basher, and joining me is...
DJ Woldridge.
Accidentally punched the microphone a little bit. My bad on my end, but you know what? I'm excited to be here today because we're talking about Harley Quinn, episode 209, Bachelorette. Quickie synopsis: the Bachelor/Bachelorette weekend for Ivy and Kite Man. Ivy and Harley finally talk about the kiss and agree it was a heat of the moment thing. Harley throws Ivy's bachelorette party on Themyscira, and despite having to deal with difficult guests, Mrs. Freeze, Catwoman, and Jennifer, she's determined to give Ivy the time of her life. Meanwhile, Kite Man is having the world's most boring bachelor party, which is quickly upstaged when a talking lobster visits King Shark and asks him to save their underwater kingdom.
Wow, that is
bing, bang, boom.
That's a pretty detailed description of what happens in the episode right off the bat. I think it's fair to say you normally catch these episodes before I do. And you were telling me like location was great. And I was like, cool. And then later I thought about it like, what does that mean? That the location was great. And then when they're going to Themyscira, I'm like, oh, this is great.
Invisible jet.
Yes.
Invisible car. So many birds. So many birds. I am glad they didn't even do one where like they ran over roadkill or something.
No.
Like why would an animal get out of the way?
It can't see
why are
coming.
these invisible?
Yeah.
Why would you do this?
It does raise the questions of what is the purpose of the invisible vehicles, but it's so cool. And also right off the bat, I got to say that when you do a bachelor party or a bachelorette party, I'll say like my interest probably isn't very peaked because I don't know what there is to say about that. Like, I don't know, like, I guess it's one of those things that people treat big that don't, it's kind of like with the situation where everybody's like, listen, grads, I know you're missing your graduation, but Barack Obama's doing and I was like, man, you know how many times I think about my graduation? 0 times. I never think about my graduation. But I like that they took the opportunity to create a disparate cast of women to join in this bachelor. They took advantage of the situation to bring back Catwoman, which was great, to bring in Jennifer, because of course Poison Ivy has like a sort of friend from elementary school that's just hanging around, and I love that doesn't like click with anybody else. Nope, doesn't belong there. And then the pity invite of Nora Freeze, like, you're just inviting me because you murdered my husband. Technically, he killed himself.
Technically. By the way, just because I don't have it on me, if you wouldn't mind checking, the voice actress who plays Mrs. Freeze and also a million of the Amazons and Hippolyta in this episode, she was on SNL way back in the 90s.
Hold on.
And she's in everything. As soon as you see her face, you recognize it. She was Debbie Downer on SNL. If that's to help you out. You know who I'm talking about?
Dang it.
Yeah, that might help you search for it. Yeah. Just my computer does not like when I do more than one thing at a time.
I'm on it. Keep talking. I'll find
it. I did like the joke and the dig that like the disparate women that were just brought together just because they happen to have something to do with each other.
Rachel Dratch. Oh, Rachel Dratch is so great.
You recognize her? Yeah. So like like I always recognize her in things. And I feel like she's played like Amy Poehler's like cousin or sister and stuff, because they have like a slight similarity in terms of like tone of voice and the way they look a little bit.
Yeah.
But regardless, she was great. So hearing her voice for Mrs. Freeze, because I didn't really remember the voice actress they had with the Mr. Freeze episode.
Yeah.
And she also played like a couple other characters too. So I like the use of Andy Daly and what was her name one more time?
Rachel Dratch.
Yeah. I like hearing their voices a lot in this show because they're such strong comedic actors, and it's cool seeing them play with these characters. But yeah, going to Themyscira for a women's getaway, also on the jet, being like, just so you know, if any men step foot on the island, they will be killed immediately. And I'm not familiar with the Wonder Woman villain, but also it doesn't really matter. I don't really know.
Iris, and I think that design for her is the design originally from Brian Azzarello's and Cliff Chang's New 52 run, which of course is one of my all-time favorite Wonder Woman runs. So that was really cool to see. Quick question though, I know jumping ahead a little bit, I thought Lex Luthor was dead. Is he not dead? Or like
all we know
gone or something?
Was that the Legion of Doom headquarters was blown up,
and
Bane got out of it. So of course, like Lex Luthor got out.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
That like maybe Sinestro didn't get out. I don't know. Somebody didn't get out of there in time. But
was Cheetah fast enough? We'll never know.
But if in terms of Wonder Woman villains, Eris made it out and immediately started hypnotizing all the Amazons to monetize Themyscira and turn it into a fire. What was it? Fire festival.
Yeah,
Fire Fest.
100%.
Jesus.
And I think this is where the show really does its homework on the material, because I think it's saying Themyscira is a Bachelorette location would probably be good enough on its own. It's a good joke, but then you'd get like the fanboys that'd be like, well, but actually, and the fact that it acknowledges like, yeah, Wonder Woman's home wouldn't be used as a Bachelorette destination. There'd have to be an extenuating circumstance like a villain mind, especially since all the heroes are sucked into a Fables book right now. Like I taking that extra step to explaining, not just doing the joke, but explaining why the joke is able to work with what we understand of Wonder Woman and the DC universe, I thought was really cool and rewarding.
I agree. Also, just kind of as a side thought I had during this episode, because all the heroes got sucked into a magical fairy tale book, when they come out of there, I think a really interesting storyline, because we kind of batted around the idea that Harley takes over like Arkham to like actually rehabilitate the villains.
Yeah.
If the heroes came out of a make-believe world where it's cartoon physics and people are being murdered all the time, like I feel like whenever the fairy tale creatures came out of the Queen of Fables book, they were pretty messed up.
Yeah.
And it was like a dark take on it. I feel like all the heroes would be kind of messed up when they came out of there.
Yeah, probably.
And I would like seeing Harley kind of be the psychiatrist that helps them deal with that.
That would be cool.
Because it is also kind of her fault. Like a little bit, but it's not. But, she didn't take out Queen of Fables when she could have. So, regardless, looking at the Bachelor Party for a second, because there's a lot to talk about at the Bachelorette Party. That's where a majority of the episode went. But to talk about the Bachelor Party, it's just that they rent a fishing trawler and they just go out into the ocean and that's it. Like it's just King Shark, Clayface, and also Cy Borgman wasn't even invited to this.
Cy Borgman, and didn't Kite Man have a roommate?
Kite Man did. So that's a good indicator of their relationship.
Yes, I will say this is and it's such a minor quibble with this episode. I wish that, like, especially since they don't factor in that much, and maybe that's the reason why they didn't add anybody, because why animate a person if they're only going to be in like 5 minutes of the episode? But it's like all the people at Kite Man's thing are Harley supporting cast. Like, I don't know if they've ever actually interacted with Kite Man, and there's no like Condiment King doesn't show up. There's no like just an Easter egg of like his roommate, like bringing his roommate back for a joke. It's like I kind of wish that somebody that was more specifically related to Kite Man had at least been like on the boat.
But I mean, that's kind of the thing, right?
Yeah,
like,
I guess so. Yeah,
is that's all he's got is Ivy's extended friend group, which stings.
It does.
That's a bummer. But man, King Shark's whole because that's part of like DC Comics is that King Shark is like possibly sometimes like a deity or like a demigod or something like that. And so in this, it's just like, his dad is the king of the Shark Kingdom because of course. In the whole outfit, by the way, when he puts on like the turtle shells and everything, this is the only time a joke I felt like went like a little too far, like not like bad in a way. I didn't hate it, but the poop song, I liked more his reactions to it because it was like, I get it. There's poop everywhere, just everywhere. I like using the toilet.
I like the idea of, obviously they're going with a rip on Sebastian from Little Mermaid. I couldn't understand a majority of the lyrics of the song. It wasn't until as it was going on, I was like, oh, poop in the ocean. Got it. So it didn't quite click as much, but I did. Anytime we get to I guess there's always characters like this that we say about the show. So like Bane or Commissioner Gordon, but like King Shark's one of those characters. Like anytime we get more of him, I'm thankful just because I think he's so funny and it's interesting to see more of his backstory and his world. I was a little bit bummed that like, the tag on it was like, oh yeah, I went back and I got married. It's like, oh, I would have loved to have seen that. That would have been a funny bit. Like he makes that big storm out and then he comes back like, all right, never mind.
I did like that. I honestly, I did like the more that they chose not to show it because they try to leave on a high note and we don't get to see like one of the more sad moments for the character. It's like, but yeah, I had to go back. It's like, I wanted to tell my daddy how I felt, but like, and I think he got the message that I was not happy. And they're like, we'll live in a loveless marriage and date people secretly on the side.
Yeah. Classic.
But it's trying to like undermine Kite Man's relationship in a way, like it's trying to like him analyze what his future is in terms of what maybe it's what comes to light, what happened with Harley and Ivy or how he feels about Ivy or what have you. You know, there's something to explore there with his character. But the whole undersea sequence I thought was really cool. The design of everything was cool.
Yeah.
I like that there were just more shark people because in King Shark it's usually just him.
Yes.
There's never like other people. Like I'm glad that we get a bunch of them right now. But yeah, back to the bachelorette party. Harley and Ivy get drunk at Hedonica, which was funny. At first, when they say it, I was like, "Oh, Hedonica, I don't know what that means." And then you see it written up. It's like, "Oh, like hedonism." Okay, cool.
Yeah,
right, I get it. And Maxie Zeus.
Zeus is back, and he's getting some intimate time with Nora Freeze. So good for them.
And Aries got Jennifer.
Yeah, Aries. Yeah, Jennifer got him. Man, Jennifer straight up like bites into somebody's neck.
Yeah.
That's what goes on there.
She's a little wound tight.
Yeah, she is a little wound tight, but it's a good joke. And also great use of Catwoman. I like, I think my favorite joke is when Harley, a couple things. One, the way they play Harley and Ivy continually waking up in bed together, I thought was really funny. But when Harley's kind of freaking out and she goes up to Catwoman, like, "You've known her the longest. Tell me what you want." Catwoman's like, "Don't put that on me. Jennifer's known her the longest." And she bails. She straight gets out of that conversation. I thought that was really funny.
And I liked Harley like putting her foot down when it came to like getting everyone on board. Where it's like, it's not about you. It's clearly still a different version of covering up what happened for herself, like mentally, like that the kiss didn't happen, or that their friendship isn't jeopardized because of it. But like I liked her getting the other women in line, where it's like, just don't make it about yourself for like just a weekend. Like, please. Because everyone's been to parties like that where like everyone's kind of being pissy, and I've definitely been on the other end of that. I've been on both sides of that, where it's like, can everybody just suck it up for like 2 seconds? It's not about you. And I wouldn't want to be on Harley's bad side.
Agreed.
I do want to talk about the end of the episode because I thought there was a good analysis from Ivy. But I did like the reveal each time that they seem to be having a good time with each other. And Catwoman even mentions it because the walls are thin, apparently. Even though, but yeah, they and the payoff that Harley 100% knew that like this ahead of time before getting here, that the Amazonians were taken over by a villain, and they were gonna like, I don't know, mess with the ecology,
something like that. Yeah, so it's perfect for Ivy.
Yeah,
it was a good moment because it was a good gag. Like, oh, I've been casing this place for weeks, but also it shows how thoughtful she is with Ivy. But I, like you were saying, you briefly touched on Ivy's analysis of Harley, because Harley can be what's the right word? Not fickle, but flighty. She can be flighty. And also with the way they set it up, it's interesting because they kind of put their relationship in this context of, if they got together, be this perfect romantic whatever that feels, and that's probably intentional, it feels unrealistic. And it also feels like if the show decides to put them in a relationship and puts the relationship in that context, it effectively kills the show. So I hope if they do end up in a relationship, it's something I think Michael Schur shows have actually been really, really good about like having will they, won't they couples end up together and having the relationship just exists. Like it doesn't like in Parks and Rec when Leslie and Ben, right, they get together, they just exist in a relationship. And the show, they have lives outside of that relationship and they keep going on, but they're a team. You know what I mean? That's all that is. Same with Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So I kind of
say Andy and April from Parks and Rec, because they actually get better because they get together. Because of the circumstances.
Yeah, and actually that might be a good parallel to Harley and Ivy because of the inherent anarchic nature of that relationship. So I kind of hope they don't treat it as like this a magical happily ever after thing if they do end up together. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I like the analysis, the end where they all go off together and Ivy making an adult decision where it's like, you got to tell Kite Man at some point.
Yes.
You know, it's like you have to tell him. But also her decision to know who her friend is and what she would need out of a relationship. And right now, she doesn't think Harley can actually give that to her.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing. That's clearly a hard thing to do. And it was a hard decision for our characters to have to make. Like Jennifer now going by Jen.
Yeah.
That's a big step.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully, I wish her the best. I don't know if we're going to see her again in this season, but I wouldn't hurt. I do like seeing normal people in this show as well.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind seeing the Hammerhead princess or whoever that was. It was like, how much do you hate this? He's like, well, I'm smoking underwater, so
Exactly, yeah.
I hate this a lot. And so all of our characters are in pretty rough spots. And last season we got 13 episodes, correct?
Yes.
And we're at episode 9 right now.
Yeah.
So while I could see this season kind of ending with maybe Poison Ivy and Harley running off together, where I don't think we're going to be seeing the happy marriage. We're going to have to see a wedding, because I want to see what a wedding looks like, attended by all these villains and heroes and everything. That's pretty cool. But it's hard not to imagine that we're not going to see like the Justice League come back in some way.
Yeah.
So we'll see what that looks like. The way this season's been ramping up has been really good, like really, really solid. So to give a rating, if there's anything else you want to talk about, let me know. But I want to give this episode a 9 out of 10.
Agreed. I totally agree. I think other than some minor quibbles, I thought it was incredibly well put together. Well executed. And it's one of those perfect, like, oh, of course. Like, oh, Bachelor Party and Themyscira. But you didn't think of it until they did it. And you're like, oh, that's so great. It's always such a rewarding feeling when creators and shows like do like the exact right thing. And you didn't think about it ahead of time. They just did it, you know? So it's, and getting all those characters together. And like you said, with the wedding, like, I think that just adds to a desire to see, of course, the wedding, there's literally, I can perceive of zero reality where the wedding goes off as planned. But just seeing all of the characters that the show could bring together for that wedding and having them bounce off each other, just like Jennifer and Nora Freeze and Catwoman all bouncing off of each other. I think I'm very excited for that.
And Dr. Psycho still out there, and that can't pan out well.
Nope.
That just can't. So we'll have to see what they get up to. Maybe he teams up with the Riddler, because he's still in the
or Bane, maybe,
if we can find him.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, well, I'll just have to wait and see. Riddler's the only one who can actually get out and be like a threat right now, as far as we can tell.
And Lex Luthor's still around, so
taking care of his sick dog.
Yes, his very sick-looking dog.
Which is the dog I expected Lex Luthor to have.
Exactly.
But anyways, gang, let us know what you thought. We would like to, last week we actually read a review, and I was looking through the comments, couldn't find anything like on short notice. I'll be honest, I blew it this week. But I do want to hear from you, so please write your reviews of these episodes in the comments down below. And next week, Scout's Honor. Is that 3 fingers, 2 fingers? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I will be reading one of the reviews on the episode. So please write them down below. Like, subscribe, check out our Patreon for more content. We've been doing live gameplay at twitch.tv/onlystupidanswers on Fridays. So if you'd like to join us, we would appreciate you. We've got a couple goals in mind. And new podcast episodes every Monday, anywhere you get your podcasts. I'm at Sam Basher, everywhere that matters.
I'm at DJ Talks Trash.
At Only Stupid Answers.
Yank out the vowels from stupid.
Bing, bang, boom. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.